Good evening, redheaded step family. This is your big brother Red, and today we're going to have a real weird conversation, but we do need to explore the experience that this woman who was trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein had. Her full name is Juliet. Oh, geez. She goes by Juliet Rose. I have it on the tip of my tongue. He actually may say it. She does have a lot of other videos. We're going to watch 3 minutes of her explaining some of the experiences she had with Jeffrey before she explains her watching Jeffrey Epstein turn into a shape-shifting Draco. And she is, for your information, she was friends with Virginia, the woman who recently passed away on, I believe, April 28th. She has also received money from the Epstein Victims Foundation. So she is a verified victim of Jeffrey Epstein. She came to work for Jeffrey Epstein at the age of 20. So she was not underage in the experiences that she had with Jeffrey. I would like to point out that as the story unwinds, it appears that the early days of Epstein's mess, like in early 2000, 2002, it seemed to be that the women that were being trafficked were actual models, Victoria's Secret models, Sports Illustrated models, and she was promised to be one of those. And there was a lot of science stuff going on in the island, more than there was trafficking and bribery and stuff going on the island. As the years of Jeffrey Epstein progressed, there seemed to be more and more politicians with people not of consenting age. I also have a video that I was going to play first of a woman from Belgium who was pretty much passed through hands of every major politician in Belgium before the age of 12. And she explains their names and the experiences and where they met. But tonight we're just going to look at this. I think it's a 12-minute video. The first 3 minutes are the warm-up. Then she goes straight into the Draco part of the story and the cloning part of the story. Evidently, all these models had their eggs harvested from them. They were drugged and brought. That's why they had scientists on the island to extract eggs from these women for cloning purposes. This is a very interesting story. Let's hop right in. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Margaret and Bubba is back. I'm going to turn my microphone off and we're going to watch.
Is the possibility that Epstein is still alive, does that make you a bit scared? Is that one of the reasons you've got the attack dogs?
Definitely. And it's not just about Epstein being alive, it's about the whole corporation being alive. Let's not forget, I've been speaking out against the Clintons. They've got a big body count. I've been speaking out against Kevin Spacey, body count. 3 of the accusers who, there were, I think, about 10 people with accusations against him, or 12. I can't remember the exact figures, but 3 of them were found dead within a year. So suddenly everyone retracted their statements, and I don't blame them for doing that. Also, I don't want to, I have attack dogs for a reason. Yeah. And also with Michael Bay being on the island, who made not on the island, I met him in New Mexico, but he made the movie called The Island about clones. And it looks like they're all escaping from New Mexico. And he denies meeting Epstein or ever being at Epstein's properties. Well, guess what? I saw him there. I want to be lie detected on it. I'm not lying, but he's lying. So why is he lying? What's he trying to cover? While the modeling casting was going on, Bill Clinton walked through the room. He walked past me, and went into another room. It was like a whole big adjoining suite where him and Epstein were staying, it seemed. And he was like, "Hi, everyone." He saw the modeling casting taking place, and off he walked. And I smelled it, like I've said before, a very weird smell coming out of that room. When he opened that door, a very weird smell came out. Anyway, so then they told me to go see Epstein with my modeling book. So I went through, and he looked through my book, and he said, right, he thinks I'll be perfect for Victoria's Secret. And then within, they left that day. I left the casting, and then Leslie Graf from Epstein's office started phoning and arranging my visa, my traveling, and everything. You know, I was also taken to the governor of Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico's mansion, and he looked myself and Tila Davies up and down, and then him and Epstein went in and had a meeting with the vice president. And I smelled the same smell that I smelt when Clinton walks through the room by the hotel, like a smell of dead bodies and covered up with cleaning chemicals. I smelt it there again. So, you know, maybe they were looking at us to buy eggs. I don't know. Because think about it. If people are sickos and they want kids to fuck around with, sorry to swear again here, but it makes me very angry. How better a way than to steal someone's eggs, make your own babies? You know, Disney princesses. You know, and another creepy thing is that, well, you know, Virginia Gifford died on Alice Day. They've got a day called Alice Day, you know, which is to do with like Disney princesses and stuff, the 25th of April, and that's the day that Virginia Gifford was found dead. And Virginia Gifford always reminded Maria Farmer and I of Alice in Wonderland. Because, you know, Wonderland, the rabbit hole, is, yeah. And it can really mess people's heads up. Because when the person you're thinking you can trust abuses you, you know, and it's a big thing that needs to be actually dealt with. Because it's very hard for people to speak out. And, you know, I never really trusted him, but unfortunately, I was petrified by him. But when I asked him about prison, he just laughed. And he said, oh, no, he never went to prison. He said, oh, he said, no, he never got sent to prison. He just like laughed at me when I asked that. But that was the last time I ever saw him.
Why did you choose the title Epstein, the Dragon, the Apple, and the Butterfly? There's obviously the butterfly comes back here as well to the blue butterfly. You were talking about you've got MK Ultra kind of connotations to the butterfly with the monarch butterfly. So why did you choose that title? It's a lovely title.
Because when I was taken to the island, I saw Epstein shift in front of my eyes. It was very, very frightening. And it's just something that I had to explain to myself because I saw him turn into something. And if someone else told me this, I wouldn't believe it. But unfortunately, it happened to me. So I had to look into it and try to find reasons for it to explain it. You know, it's not an easy thing to talk about because I can understand that a lot of people wouldn't understand it if they haven't seen it. Do you mind if I just have a puff of a cigarette? Sorry.
Yeah.
And then we keep going once.
Yeah, sure. We'll do another 5 minutes on top of this anyway, so it's fine.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So was this a theory that you were familiar with before? Was this the first time you heard it? So there's no suggestion in here. This is something you weren't aware of.
No, I wasn't aware of anything like that. You know, a few years later, my mum started actually researching David Icke, and my mum knew about the whole reptilian theory, and you know, so then I sort of clicked what I'd seen. Because, you know, the thing is, it wasn't actually like reptilian, it was more like an alien, like dragon. And that's when I looked into the Draconians, you know, the Draco law, you know, also the Order of the Dragon, the royal family are all apparently part of the Order of the Dragon. Also their descendant, Vlad the Drac, used to drink blood, Vlad the Impaler. You know, so I looked into a lot of history and it sort of, it explained. But I saw him shift into something. It only happened once. But I've never seen anyone else turn into anything like that. And it happened. It was like a weird hologram, and it had like big black eyes. And so it happened.
Big black eyes, and it wasn't quite reptilian, but it was esque.
Yeah, it was like reptilian, draconian, alien sort of thing. It was like, you know, it wasn't like the usual reptilian pictures that they draw of people where but I saw, you know, and it was like, and I was, you know, when I looked at him and saw him as that, I decided to look away and look back at him. And when I looked back, it was him again.
What emotions is he going through at that time? Because a lot of people say this happens, or a lot of people that believe this happens, say that they're in a heightened state of either arousal or anger.
He's having an orgasm when it happened.
Right.
Yes, he was having an orgasm when it happened, because that's when I was taken into the room with him in the dark. And, you know, that's another reason why I was so petrified, you know, after seeing that. You know, because that happened on the first time when I was taken there that I saw that. But I didn't see it again. But I saw it.
Right. And what is your kind of take on it now knowing what you are? Do you believe that was him shifted into something else? Or do you believe someone else is taking over the body or the soul or the organism that was once Jeffrey a long time ago? What do you think's going on here, even in your own theory of what happened?
You know, with the book, I suddenly got into the bloodlines. And, you know, I think that's also why they deleted my main account, because I hosted a talk on bloodlines. It was very interesting because, you know, you get the Rh negative, and most of the American presidents and the royal family are all Rh negative. Also the same like Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, Tom Cruise, like Elon Musk, apparently they're all Rh negative. You know, I don't know for fact, but from the research I've done online, even people like Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, Rh negative.
Right.
So, you know, from the research I did, it seems that it's like a carrier gene. But then also you get good people who are Rh negative, because then also it comes back to the Holy Grail, Jesus's bloodline. Also St. Michael from Basque, 25 to 35% of the people in Basque are Rh negative. You know, also a lot of the witches who were burnt, it seems, were Rh negatives. They also burnt books, Bonfire of the Vanities, 1497, then they reset history, 1600s. The Medici family, you know, the Botticelli, Da Vinci, they were all working for the Medici family.
And are you yourself Rh negative?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I was thinking that you
And it's
probably
rare.
are.
It's very, just, you know, both my parents are Rh positive. But if you have two Rh negative parents, you'll only have an Rh negative child. But
Okay, 5x5, 5x5, 5x5. We are going down a wrong rabbit hole there. Not a wrong rabbit hole, just a rabbit hole, the Rh negative. We don't need to be getting into that. Some of you may be aware that Billy Corgan from Smashing Pumpkins, who I built a guitar for once upon a time, and I wonder whatever happened to it. It was really, really heavy. I didn't like working on it. He probably didn't like it either. It was a Fender, like a 57 Fender copy body, but the damn thing weighed like freaking 30 pounds. It was heavier than a Gibson. So anyways, Billy Corgan explained in a story once very delicately that he also had an experience with someone that shapeshift in front of him. And the way he was going about the conversation delicately, I think most people listening to it got the feeling that he just got done having sex with this person and they shapeshift. And she said she said that Jeffrey Epstein was receiving fellatio and she was going in there, which she explains if you watch hours of this woman. It always starts out with another girl going down on Jeffrey and she's sitting there with her hands empty for the moment. So it was always kind of a seduction thing. Every time you see Jeffrey's about to get fellatioed, this lady ends up there's a threesome going on. So she says she saw him shapeshift while he was receiving services. If some of you have been around, maybe Bubba, you might remember when I first brought evidence of this shape-shifting thing. Not physical evidence, but testimonial evidence. I freaked out. I had a nervous breakdown that day. I said, I'm done. I'm not fighting frickin' aliens. I'm happy to fight any evil human God puts on this earth, but I'm not fighting straight up demons or aliens or both. That was a nervous breakdown day for me. Maybe this is part of the reason that we're not getting very far with the Epstein thing. Maybe there's something beyond political here, and it's interspecies connection that is stopping this from happening. You know, for all we know, one of these Dracos, well, it's very highly unlikely if there is Dracos that they're not surrounding Donald Trump. And any one of these Dracos could easily say, you're not talking about Jeffrey Epstein, or we're going to get you, and none of these Secret Service guys standing around you can do anything about it. I know I'm going down a weird path here, but name one conspiracy that has ever been said aloud that did not come true. Name one. You can't. You can't name one. Every conspiracy has come true. None of them have failed. Except for the ones the Democrats, or we shouldn't be calling them Democrats. They're very powerful with the language that they use. They've changed. Literally, I watched a history cartoon channel yesterday, animated. I wouldn't say cartoon, not for kids, but a channel about history that was completely wrong. That was, I mean, it made the South look like the worst people during the Civil War. It was absolutely horrific watching them rewrite history on YouTube. Unfortunately, they burned all the books or threw them all away. If you've been to your library lately, all you could do is rent DVDs. It is the new blockbuster. Redbox. So it's up to you. Keep it on your back burner. Are there Dracos? Are they involved with the control of us? Have you seen a photo of the amphitheater that they built in the basement at Vatican City? If you're sitting in the back of the room, the whole room is the mouth of a snake, and whoever's standing on stage is in the mouth of the snake. Fangs there and everything. The eyes are there. It's a green room. You see the fangs. There is no question what you're looking at. So is Trump doing the best he can with the situation at hand? Is this lady lying? No, she's definitely not lying. Go back and watch her. Look for her blinking. The only time this lady blinks is for a long period of time, and she looks down into her lap, and every time it's shameful. She's saying something that she's ashamed of. So she closes her eyes and looks in her lap. She doesn't blink and stare at the camera, hoping that you believe her. Was Jeffrey Epstein born something that could transfer what it looks like? I don't believe, if it is real, that that's even the case. I don't believe that. I don't think it's something you're born with. I think it's something you allow to happen to you, possibly. Maybe you could be born with it if both of your parents are like that. I don't know, but I do believe that there is choice involved. Whether this guy's completely human or not, do I believe that there are non-humans around? I know there's non-humans around us. I know of a non-human on YouTube. I know for a fact Bigfoot is very fucking real. I saw one as a kid, and I always questioned what I saw until I heard people talking about the same thing. And mine was for a second driving down a road, and it was in the woods going in the opposite direction. I was just sitting there staring out the window, and I saw the thing. And it looked like I always thought it was imagination because it looked like it was on a skateboard in the woods, because it wasn't going up and down like humans do when they walk or they jog. Their body kind of goes up and down. But I've heard hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people say Bigfoot didn't go up and down. He just looked like he was gliding, which is exactly what I saw at 9 years old. So that damn thing is real. Okay, do I believe aliens are from outer space? No. I believe the Earth is very flat and very fucking big. And there's a lot of continents, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of miles, millions and millions of miles away from us that all have different levels of technology and different species and different animals. Maybe we share animals. Maybe they have a different type of elephant over where Colonel Byrd was. I don't know, but I know for a fact that we have people here that are not 100% human. I believe this woman by saying that Jeffrey Epstein is one of those types of people, whether he's born that way or not. I believe you could see it in their face. If you look at a picture of Jeffrey Epstein and you look at a picture of George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., look at a picture of Bill Gates and just draw a Christian cross from the center of their nose down to their lip and across their retinas. And look in that area right there and tell me that they don't all have the same face. You know who else has it is that ladyboy Caitlyn from CNN that everybody says is so hot. It's a ladyboy. She also has that. You'll see this. You'll see something in their face that's different. You know, like if you were looking at, if you did the same thing to a chimpanzee and you put a cross down the center, a line down the center of their nose, directly in the middle of their head, right down the center of their nose and across their eyeballs, and you focus on that area. And, you know, a monkey has a very distinctively different type. Those people are displaying a different type that I see as much as being something else. And I believe you could take any person and see, well, that's kind of got that Jeffrey Epstein, President Bush Jr.'s kind of the look that they got between the eyes and the nose and the forehead a little bit. And even in the jawline. But if you just look in that center area, I think those people would be most likely to be Draco. I'm sure there's other types, just that like there are different types of humans, but that's my analogy that I've been coming up with, because the people that have that look, I've suspected for other reasons of being Draco. Actually, I think there's a story of Bush Jr. Shapeshifting from a long time ago. Nonetheless, we got a problem here. I believe they're doing their best with it. I believe something's going to be done or is being done. I don't know what level they're going to be able to take it to. But I also think that there's not one person in the unit, not one patriot in this country that would take Kash Patel's shoes for double his paycheck if they could. I don't think any of us would do it. So we're going to have a little faith in him. I do believe he was lying. I do believe it was a noble lie. I do believe that noble lies exist. I believe there is a noble time to lie and doing it for noble reasons. And I believe that's what he's doing. Let me move this picture of me. See if you guys have anything to say. Bubba gives a big smiley. Thank you very much. I think that's what they call a badge. Michelle Obama has a Tracy. Part of the plan, Fringe says, and me too, Red. All right, I think that's enough ideas for tonight. I'm not putting forth this as truth. We got to have stuff on the back burner that we could pull out of our hat anytime something makes sense. And this is the back burner. What you put on your front burner is going to be different from everybody else. You know, please be very aware of channels. Anytime you see a channel that has, you know, the F word or he called her a bitch, block those channels. There are so many. YouTube suggests I watch these videos that you watch them and it never happens. Their name of the channel isn't even in English, or it's about hobbies and knitting and stuff like that. And I put do not recommend. I hit the 3 dots in the upper right hand corner, open up the menu, say do not recommend. You got to do that 2 or 3 times, but it'll help clean up some of the crap. I don't think we're going to be able to wrap around the crap. I'm not sure we'll ever even hear the extent of the crap. If there are shapeshifters, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to disclose that to us. They might just get rid of them and keep it quiet for now. That's probably what I would do. So I want you guys to have a beautiful, safe Memorial Day weekend and day tomorrow. I did go to a Mexican rodeo today. I made that attempt to on the other side of the river here in Henderson. And it was free if you got there before 2 p.m. And it was $60 after. And they're like, are you just re-entering? I'm like, no, I just got here. And she points and it says $60 cash. And I'm like, there ain't nothing in this. I mean, this is a field. This ain't the AT&T Center, you know, the house that Jerry built, where I would expect to pay $60 to go to a rodeo. So I didn't get to go to that rodeo. So anyways, we'll have some fun stuff up on the Fun Channel soon. Peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. And this is just information. Leave it on. It's not worth. This ain't the stuff you go tell your brother-in-law about. This is stuff we're going to leave on the back burner and see if it makes sense later. But there's just too much talk about this shape-shifting shit. And I think they're identifiable. I don't think they have to shape-shift for us to see them. I think I'm seeing them. I think that my description of how to recognize them is clear. They all have the same face. Lester Holt, he fits the pretty damn good. He's a black guy, but he still has that same shit going on in the Christian cross section of his face. Jawline a little bit, chin a little bit, you know, that's all in there, but you can really see their soul just by looking into there. And I see Draco's. All right. Pelosi has that look. Yes, she has that look too. You might even say the mayor of New York a little bit. The mayor of LA, I mean, a little bit. That woman. Anyway, peace and love worldwide. Live your life before your life lives you. Keep on smiling. God bless America. And thank you for those who never returned. God bless their God. Please give great joy to those men who served their country and didn't get to come home, and let them feel our love tonight and tomorrow, especially as we remember those people. Amen.